of landscaping. So have you seen it? Can you like make a model of it? What if you make a model of it, Wesley? Can we like build a model? Can you build a model down here so we can see what it looks like? I mean, I would think, just for like interest's sake, let's say each container is... You don't think you're able to? Well, okay then. I mean, like, what possibilities are there? Like, there's not that many possibilities for 3 boxes to stack on top of each other. I mean, you can do it like that, right? I mean, that's one thing you might do. And I do this because then you have a courtyard here, right? You have a courtyard in this space, which is kind of nice. You have like a courtyard in the overhang here. This is kind of nice, like this here, right? Wesley says, 1 second, I'm gonna open the SketchUp. I don't know if you can like post images. Maybe you shouldn't post images. Also, the dragon is chomping. Look at this guy. He's chomping in death. Crazy. Alright, you build Helena's architecture there. I'm gonna keep working on this because I'm thinking like flying buttresses at the moment. So let me flying buttress and you work on that. So this is probably not gonna be there like that. Probably thinking about 4 there. Oh, Wesley's gone. SketchUp killed Minecraft. And let's say there's maybe like a gap there. And then let's say... we want it to stick out? I guess we do want it to stick out. If we stick it out to like there... Oh, welcome back. Stick it out to there. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2... Oops. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. I guess that works. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's very it's very bulky, isn't it? Oh, wait, it's not 3, it's 2. It should be 2 like that. And that should actually be there. Which means that is there. 1 and 2. Okay, not this one down here then. Oops, my bad. That, and then we go 1, 2, and 3. And then 1, 2, and 3. This is super thick. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2. Oh, I'm still working with that in the background. Let me transition this back. Minecraft trains map. Alright, back to this. 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3. 2 and 3. That might be too thick. In hindsight. In hindsight, that's too thick. Let me think about not doing that. Like, even this is pretty thick. And the problem with the thickness of this is that we have to make it taller. It's not that big a problem actually. It's not a huge problem. It's not really a flying buttress because it's gonna be attached, isn't it? Alright, so vertical wall down to there. Need to think about these materials. I haven't been considering materials at all. Let's stick a couple of glowstone blocks in there. And then we are talking about... I'm gonna start from the top actually. So we go that, 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 and that. And then 1, 2, and 3. Right. And then there, 2 and 3. Right. And then that, 2 and 3. 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. What he says, so if you can imagine how this... Oh, it's just a line? But the shapes can be hollow to look through. Wait, it's just a straight line? What does it look like in plan? Wait a minute. Or half hollow to give depth. Wait a minute, what is... So if you can imagine this is how she's making walls, but the shapes can be hollow to look through or half hollow to give depth. This is just one wall. I'm a little concerned that she's thinking more about surface and not enough about space. I don't know if that's like... What does it look like in plan? So you say that's only one wall. That's huge. You're making a giant diagram. And there's meant to be 3 spaces, right? Right. Okay, keep going. I'll get back to you when you're done with that. Let me think about what's going on here. 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then the column goes down like that, kind of. Alright, let's knock these out because it's not really gonna be there. Those columns will sit on nothing, so this is kind of fake. It's fake Gothic architecture, it's not real Gothic architecture. Alright, knock those out, knock those out. Knock that out there. And that's gonna be the wall. Alright, let me keep going. You kind of recreate her entire design in here, Wesley. Alright, keep going, keep going. So what is... hold on, before I... What's one wall? The shape she's creating is not looking good, or the way the shapes add to each other. Huh. You know, parallelograms are pretty difficult to work with. I don't know if you realize this, but like rectangles, easy. Parallelograms, not so easy. One, two, and then 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2. Is that even right? Okay, that's still right. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. Probably makes more sense if we have stairs to smooth out the shape a little bit. There. 2 and 3. Wesley says, alright, try to sketch this as accurate as I'm able. Alright. So it goes up, it steps up a little bit, is what you're saying. So there's like a one space here, it steps up, there's another space here. Imagine all the walls are the parallelograms. And then we step up here, about half, all the walls are parallelograms, half a meter high. And the shapes don't look good. Okay, so I mean, a practical comment that I might make is that the parallelograms are difficult, and because of how difficult they are, you may want to like just minimize their use to a few feature components, right? So maybe there's like one part of the building, or maybe like 1 or 2 parts of the building that are special, and you use the wacky shapes in those special parts, whereas the rest of the building is just kind of ordinary and kind of normal and easy to work with. That might make it a lot easier if you don't try to put the parallelograms everywhere, because I can imagine if you put the parallelograms everywhere, it's just gonna be confusing and hard, and maybe like a little too busy even, like there's just too many shapes everywhere. So it might be easier just to like simplify it and focus the wacky bits in like 1 or 2 areas, so that you don't have such a huge problem that you have to work with. Wesley says, that's what I thought too, it looks too stressed and busy. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine. Because of all the shapes. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can imagine how that might be like. I mean, if the building is like 90% rectangles and then 10% parallelograms, maybe that's fine. Like maybe that's probably easier to manage. And like if you design one interesting thing, but it doesn't, but then it doesn't look like the habitat as much, I guess. I don't know if that matters that much, Wesley. I don't know if that's like a huge problem. If it doesn't look like habitat, as in random place blocks and shapes. Yeah. But again, I think the scale is an issue because look, when you gave me the design brief, I thought of this. This over here is what I thought of. It was just like 3 boxes piled on top of each other is what I thought of. Like I don't think the design brief is meant to be that complicated. I mean, maybe if it's like, I don't know, 30%. 30% parallelograms and 70% not. Maybe there's like a feature staircase, right? Maybe the staircase leading, like joining up the 3 spaces is this like wacky field of parallelograms. And then everything else is boxes. Maybe that. I don't know all the specifics, it's so hard to be the in-between man. Yeah, I mean that's reasonable, that's fine, Wesley. It's not like... I mean, the thing is, look, Habitat 67, let's go back to this full screen thing. Full screen. Habitat 67, like, the intent is not to make this look busy. Like, the architect didn't go into this thinking, how do I make this look like super wacky? I didn't mean to can I just open the... Oh, I can't just open this. The architect didn't go into here thinking, oh, how can I make this the most confusing piece of architecture I can imagine? That's not it. Like, there's like very simple apartments that are then assembled into this wacky shape. Like it's made out of very simple parts. It's not really like intended to be complex and confusing. Wesley says she was using this as a concept too. Okay, let me look at this. Serpentine Gallery Pavilion. Okay, this is cool. But that's also quite simple. This is actually quite simple, right? There's like a shape that... There's a very simple shape that then is built out of a lot of little boxes. Right? It's not a complicated thing. I mean, does she want to do that? Does she want to do this? It's just like, this is just boxes that have been pushed to fit onto a curve. Like, you see, because when you look at it like in that direction, in this direction, it's basically just rectangles that are, you know, that are slid into place to form the curve. Like it's basically just rectangles. You can't really see it because of the camera angles here. But this, for example, is basically just rectangles that are elongated and fit to the curve. Like, it's not... It's actually really simple. Wesley says, yeah, that's her idea, but with the para shapes. Okay. But this is rectangular. Wesley, this is rectangular. Like what? The examples you're showing me are quite simple, but it sounds like she's having trouble with the complexity of her design, is what it sounds like. The shape she's creating is not looking good. It's possible that the parallelograms are just too complicated already. Like she's inspired by things that are actually very simple. Not to disparage the architects or anything, like, but they're not hugely complex ideas that she's taking concepts from. Let me switch this back.